Congratulations OPPI, congratulations Shailesh and the entire set of producers who are part of the OPPI. We're delighted that you're turning 50. OPPI has been tremendous in the sense of, I was just talking to him, has been tremendous in the sense of just providing thought leadership, guidance, and in general, a broad-based direction to the entire industry in the country. And coming from Telangana and the capital city of Hyderabad, which is the pharma capital of India, obviously I think you would most certainly, I could not have most certainly missed this invitation. In fact, our Honorable Chief Minister today had convened a collectors conference of which we were all a part of. So midway through it, I just went close to him and I said, I have to go to this event, OPPI, and he said, why? I said, there are about 30 top, top pharma producers in the country. We're all going to be in one room, and therefore I need to pitch Hyderabad and Telangana to them. So I'm going to do my finish treatment and then come to OPPI a bit later. Hyderabad, as you all know, is the pharma capital of the country. It accounts to more than 35% of pharma production in the country today. And in fact, for those of you who are possibly not aware, Hyderabad, in fact, is also home to more than 1/5 of world vaccine manufacturing. So next time one of your children or one of your grandchildren is getting a vaccine shot, there's 1 in 5 chance that it could have been manufactured in Hyderabad. So we've been doing rather well in the sense of developing the existing ecosystem of life sciences, ranging all the way from bulk drugs, chemicals, to pharmaceuticals, to new age biopharma companies and more biotech, and more recently med devices as well. We're trying to cover the entire life sciences and healthcare spectrum. And we also have a couple of things to narrate. In fact, Novartis, which Ranjit represents, in fact has its largest offshore delivery center outside of its headquarters, again in Hyderabad. Besides our tech prowess, besides being number 2 in India for IT exports, we are definitely up there with respect to life sciences. So a combination of IT and life sciences is what I'm going to touch upon a bit now. Because the big challenge today, I think pharma producers across the world face, is how to lower the cost of production, yet make sure that we don't compromise on quality. And the challenge for governments across the world, including India and the state governments as well, is that the 3A mantra, as they call it: availability, accessibility, and affordability. A drug which cures even the rarest of diseases could be available. It could not be available for an Indian in a remote district in India. Even if it is available, it may not be affordable in the current setup. And in terms of the overall accessibility, in terms of just making it accessible to as many Indians as possible. I know Government of India is coming out with a program, I think, in the next budget, National Health Insurance Scheme kind of thing, which possibly is going to cover about 10 crore Indian families. We do hope and believe that this possibly will change and benefit India quite well. But as a state, Telangana has been doing several things. In fact, in the healthcare system, since we're also talking about new milestones and new frontiers, Telangana, in fact, is the youngest state in India. It's only 2.5 years old. We call it a startup state. So we do operate with a bent of mind for startup. We've been trying to, when you get started as a new state, the biggest advantage you have is basically you're not burdened by legacy. You can start with a clean slate. So what has happened in the past, what have the previous governments done or not done, is none of our business. So what we've done, in fact, starting about 2.5 years ago, is we took a look at the healthcare situation in the state, and we said we have to start thinking differently. And therefore, the private healthcare system, which is quite well established in Hyderabad, in fact, it's one of the healthcare hubs of the country, which is again been attracting a lot of tourists from across the world. We decided to ensure that we forge the right kind of partnerships with the private sector players. In fact, one of the partnerships that we've seen recently with a large pharma company is J&J, and we are actually working together on detecting and eradicating tuberculosis as a state and J&J partnership. Now we are trying to forge similar partnerships in oncology, in diabetes, and several other prevalent diseases in India and in our state, and trying to ensure that these are addressed in collaboration with the private sector. The second thing we're also trying to do is innovation, technology. Today's buzzword is disruption. The world talks about disruption all the time. How traditional businesses, how legacy businesses which have been heavily legacy-oriented, have started reinventing themselves. I think pharmaceutical industry also has to take a very, very strong look at innovation in this space. As a state, we've started digitizing the health records of all citizens. We're once again collaborating with the private party. We've started digitizing the health records because very, very often, we hear about how the golden hour, as they call it, is important. And once you digitize the citizens' health records and make it available on a cloud, which is accessible to both the private sector and the public healthcare facility providers across the state, I think that would be a great opportunity to ensure we save, to be able to save more lives. The other thing we are also working on, Hyderabad, as you all know, is also home to large number of research institutions. We have the CCMB, the National Institute of Nutrition. We have more than 30-odd institutions doing research, which is supported either by CSIR or ICMR or other large government institutions. Now, with all due respect to all these wonderful institutions, I think we've produced a great many scientists who have done exceptional research, who have produced amazing, papers and which have been published by international journals. What we've been trying to understand from them is how much of this research actually is oriented to solving problems that we face as India. How much of this research is actually commercialized, it can be commercialized. And that's when the thought of what is called as RICH, the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, came up. We are trying to leverage the three strengths Hyderabad possesses. One, we are a leader in information technology. Two, we are a leader in life sciences. Three, we have all these wonderful, large academic institutions supported by Government of India and Government of Telangana. So we're trying to forge a partnership between all three different verticals and trying to pose a challenge to our researchers, saying, how much of your research can you commercialize? And between the private sector players as well, we've brought about a discussion. We have a life sciences advisory committee at the state level. We've recently discussed a very interesting concept of a collaboration in the pre-competitive space between the various private sector players as well. Because we do understand you guys spend billions of dollars in research and development. But at the same time, I think there is a pre-competitive space wherein you can collaborate as competition as well, which can then produce goods and which can then produce some wonderful results for a country like India. So therefore, these are all the things that we've started working on. And I do believe that OPPI and McKinsey in the report that you produced today, especially with respect to new frontiers and new milestones for a new state like ours, I think it augurs well. And we'll certainly go through the report and we'll certainly ensure that we partner with OPPI in taking these initiatives forward and ensuring that healthcare for all is achieved to begin with in the startup state of India. Thank you very much for this opportunity. We look forward to a wonderful evening. Thank you.